We're going to have a morning Bible study. We'll claim Church of Christ. It's March the 3rd, 2019. The topic is you can make a difference in the world. You can make a difference in the world. Speaking of you as an individual, you can make a difference in the world. Genesis 37, excuse me, and verse 2. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. So now, what we want to talk to you about is to understand, who's ever listening to this study, is that you as an individual, as a person alone, can change this entire world. You have to have in your mind to think of being a game changer. We hear that all the time, whether it's in politics, we hear it, whether it is in sports, we hear it, whether it is in jobs. And what the term deals with, game changer, is the thing that you were involved with was going a certain way, and you rose up to the occasion. Utilize the things that are around you with support and help from others, and you change the whole atmosphere, complexion, or the landscape of what it is that you were involved with. One who makes a difference in society is what you have to decide to be if you want to change things for the better, obviously. You have to go against the grain, which we talk about. What is the grain? Go against the norm. You walk into the wind. You go into the crowd. That's to go against the grain. You go up the mountain and not be so desirous to always take the downside of the mountain. You do the unusual when it comes to performance. You come early, as they say. You stay late, whatever it takes to get it done. Work through lunch. You make sacrifices. You cause people to turn their head and say, who is that person? Whether you're young or old, we're going to see our studies of a young man who started out at 17 doing this. Be contrary to sin. Go against sin. Go against the desires of life, whether you're young or old. Live life to its fullest. Learn to enjoy the fruits of your labor, the things that you get, the benefits that God provides you with. Do not fear to be great. Many people are afraid of greatness because they know accountability and responsibility comes with being great. One of the things we noticed recently when you're dealing with politics, you have politicians that fall and they want to now be treated like everyone else, which they should be forgiven. But only the saint possesses that, where the other people are saying, no, 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 no. You're held to a higher standard, and we expect more from you. Or we see the individual who is an owner, very rich man of the New England Patriots. He is being scrutinized because he, as a benefactor, is seen, whether he likes it or not, as one who must uphold a certain reputation. Same way with leaders of our nation. A lot of people don't realize who the leaders of a nation is. It is the rich, it is those who do great things, and it is the politicians. And one of the things we're going to have to understand is, especially in politics, the candidate of your choice, you cannot get them a pass card to sin. That's a soul. It doesn't matter what the other party does. I hear this all the time. Well, so-and-so did that. Sin is still sin. There are people who are ready to give the men who were caught up in this thing, whether they're guilty or not, we know not. We'll never probably see the video, but they want to give them a pass card. Statements like, men will be men. You know, if the way of men. It's not like he raped her. Things like that. But you have to understand, this action is a sin. There's a big push in the White House, always. Every president that comes forward in some kind of way, most of them are considered some type of a liar by the other party. They did something wrong. It doesn't give them a pass card. It doesn't matter what good you do in life. It's irrelevant what good you do. And this is how you know you're not being honest with yourself. It doesn't matter if a person can feed the world. If you had a president who could feed literally the entire planet, if he's caught doing something crooked that he upholds and says other men should fall for that, he's going to fall. See, this is where somehow the saint thinks God gives a pass card to the Gentile. Herod is a pure Gentile by his lifestyle. It doesn't matter if he's one of the ones that had Jewish blood in him. It's irrelevant. He's a Gentile. He doesn't walk by the system of God. John the Baptist calls him out publicly. Says it's not right for you to have your brother's wife. Is it because he's a Jew? No. Is it because he's a leader? No. It's because he's a human. And he is sin. It doesn't matter if he goes, what about the other Herods? You just don't like me because you have a problem with me. That's not how you walk as a Christian. You can preach the gospel, but you got to walk by it. Sin is sin. It doesn't matter what good you do on earth. Sin is sin. You cannot do enough good to cover sin. Sin must be covered by the blood of Christ. And so this is what the Bible says, to walk amongst them that are without the kingdom. You're supposed to walk circumspectly. You're supposed to consider what you say, what you do. Redeem the time, because you only get so many moments with them, and they're watching you. And God is watching you even if they don't see you, and that's what the judgment is about. And so therefore, you can make a difference if you go against the sin that is before you, regardless of your age. And that you live life to its fullest and learn how to enjoy the things that you possess. This is how you make a difference in the world. Do not apologize when you have done what others were afraid to even imagine. There are some things that are done by people that other people are afraid to even think is such a thing possible. And then when you accomplish it, excuse me, there's this group, what we call haters, rock throwers, and they're profane persons. And what they want to do is come and say, oh, you think, you know, oh, he thinks he's different than the rest of us because he's rich. Oh, he thinks he's different than the rest of us because he knows the president. Oh, he thinks he's different than the rest of us because he's traveled the globe. And it's just what we call in the country a pot shot. Just shooting out a pot. I want to do something. I want to say something. I was too afraid to imagine that something could even be accomplished like that, let alone try to do it. So I'm going to talk about you. And if you so much as sneeze, I'm chunking rocks because you think you're all that. Well, listen, if you're too fearful to do a task, whatever that task is, if you think your time is too important to do a task, whatever that task is, speaking of things that are right with God, in life and in the church, if it just isn't a desire of yours, for whatever the task may be, whether it's to get married, have children, it doesn't matter. Don't say anything to people who have accomplished that, and then not only accomplished it, take it to a level so high, it just is a form of jealousy. It's a form of anger. Abel's walk is so profound on the earth that his brother can't stand his life, and so he kills him. He just can't. Abel is called righteous in his blood. God said the earth had enough love to at least suck your brother's blood in, to absorb it. Meaning, metaphorically, you know, the earth thought something as a metaphor of your brother. What's your problem with him? If you do right, I praise you. Sin is at the door, but you should be able to rule it, because it's definitely coming to rule you. But because Abel not only said, you know, I'm not just going to be righteous, I'm going to be great. I'm giving him my best. His life is taken as a result of it. I'm sure he's not unhappy, though, being spoken of well. But the idea is, on the earth, God does that now. You shouldn't have done him like that. So now, having said all that, foundational work from. One thing we want to show you is this. We sometimes get confused with lessons in the Bible. We think everything is done by God, forced on you. We say we don't, but we do. And this was God's plan, and therefore he had no choice but to do it. Joseph is a lesson that has many angles and many cuts like a diamond, and it shines like a diamond, as well as Job and others. This is Joseph's dream. It isn't forced on him. He believes in it. He knows, I'm going to change the world. He just doesn't know how. See, we look at the story of Joseph as like this dream is outside of him. Joseph is not Jesus. Jesus is Jesus. Joseph is not Jacob. He's not Reuben. He's Joseph. He's not the youngest because he has a younger brother. He is just young. He's 17. But at 17, Joseph is going to have a profound dream that says it makes him great. And Joseph wants that dream to come true. And we're going to show you by his life he makes that. But a lot of times you and I look at these people who are on the earth at this time. We think that God's telling them, you know, the dream you're going to have, you know what this dream has association with is, you know, my son, and, you know, thousands of years from now, people are going to be talking about you. See, that's what you think. God didn't have any communication with people like that. He just tells David, oh, he wants sitting on the throne. David dies, he's stiff as a boy. He has no idea how that's going to happen. He doesn't even know that the kingdom is going to be split. David's kingdom is perfectly joined together when he dies. This man, Solomon, he's not told in the Bible, thou shalt bring forth apes, or I shall kill thee. He brings forth apes. He has a zoo. He builds a magnificent, he does it. He puts the stuff together. He has to oversee it. It still has to be a blueprint. There was no hammer, but you don't put the wood with the concrete. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. And what we don't, and why we don't accomplish things in life, spiritually great for God, or physically, whatever it is we want to do, is because we want to remove the man from the plan that God has him involved with. God doesn't say, you know, to Gideon how to win the battle. God reduces Gideon's army down so it is impossible for him to win. But God does not tell Gideon, take a lantern and put it in a container. That's Gideon's plan. We talked about that before. And what I see in Christianity, in the Lord's church, is saints not able to develop a congregation because they think God going to develop it while he sit down and preach and look in the sky. They won't go to leaders or potential leaders and tell them, you know, like Gideon, mighty man of God, you know, mighty man of valor. You know, he told me in there, yeah, see, be scared. Oh, I can't use those terms because that's not Gideon. But, yeah, it's not Gideon. But it's a saint. And this is why some of us will barely scratch the surface and some of us will run it deep and be powerful. God told David, I made you great, like the great men of the earth. He didn't say like the righteous. I made you great like the great men of the earth, he told David. And David had to come to. David is the one who took a knife and stabbed people. David is the one that orchestrated battles. David is the one that pulled himself together about to be stoned and said, I just want to know one thing, God, can we go down and get our wives and children back? He said, God don't give him no plan. He said, go, you'll get it. He has to come up with the plan. He runs into the Egyptian. He feeds him, nurses him back. Yeah, God promises, if you don't kill me, I'll tell you where the crooks are at, because they abandoned me. He has no love for them. David and them go down there partying because we have whooped two nations, David and another. And they go down, smite them, put them to sleep, and take their women and children. And they didn't lose one thing that they took. Because David was made great like the great men of the earth. See, in our mind, we think mediocrity and lowball performance is something that God goes, hey, humbleness has nothing to do with your great. Humbleness has, don't boast about your greatness. Humbleness has nothing to do with you barely coming to church, barely performing, barely teaching, barely studying, just a little dabble do it. Humbleness has to do with, I have all this power, but I'm low key. And that's why some of us, we will never help people develop to be great. We will and then we will wonder why they get on drugs, why their life unravel, why they become, in some instances, a machine for producing children with no spouse. And some of us are to blame for that. I didn't say anyone specifically. Because we don't teach a person that you can walk on the earth and not have sex till you get married. Because some of us didn't. And we think everybody's going to be like us. Some of us think that because we lie, everybody lies. So we don't hold people accountable for telling the truth all the time. And so that's what I mean by you can't help them be great. Because if you don't practice the things of God, even regardless of you in the church or not, you will not be great. The Bible says, wisdom said, by me, God put things together. And that's making wisdom like a person. Of course, we know it's God's voice. Wisdom says, by me, princes rule, rulers rule. Nebuchadnezzar was just not given power and he was just a buffoon dummy. This was a great guy. This guy had brilliant plans and he knew, I'll put these plans together. But God allowed him to explore his strength and principle. That's why one nation is able to come and defeat the Anakims, those giants, and Israel is not. How can Israel with God not go in and defeat the Anakims on the first try? Because they definitely tried it. But another nation who worships a false god goes in because they believe, I can do it. I can be great. We can go, I don't care how big they are, I'm going to scale their walls. And that's why some of us, and we have to recognize when we die, we're going to be brought to the judgment. We did not develop the saints of God to be great spiritually. We kept them on the low ebb, and some of them died because they tipped over into the pit. You got to get away from the edge. So now let's look at this though and understand clearly what God is saying. Dream big and believe. That's what Joseph does. This is a big dream, and it's his dream. And he has this dream, and it is accomplished. And within the dream, there is no, and that's why I want to share something with you. Within the dream, there is no image that comes forward and says, I'm from the Lord thy God, the God of Abraham and Isaac. And this dream that thou hast in thine head shall come to fruition by my power. Joseph has a dream just like you have a dream. And Joseph makes his dream happen. But he knows it's all because God is with him. And this is what I hate about when preachers try to tell this story and you don't tell it right. They do Job the same way. This story must be told right, the right way. And it says in Genesis 37:5, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. They already hate him now because his daddy loves him more than them. And now they got two reasons to hate him. Because he dreams a dream and they don't have a dream. That's what they lack. They don't have a dream. You say, well, God's not with them. Gee, I wonder why. Because they hate their brother. You think that got something to do with it? I am sure it's why they don't have a dream. And this isn't just a dream, like say, because of accomplishing something spiritual. Joseph later says, God meant it for good when y'all threw me in the pit. See, because he has no idea till it comes to fruition. But he says, you meant it for bad. So you're not left off the hook because of you. You're left off the hook because of God. I'm not going to thrash you because of my faith in God. Everything Joseph does because of his faith in God. If you're going to even accomplish something physically on the earth, you must have faith. Watch this, in how God made you. You have no other way to prove to any person on the earth how a nation that worships a false God can go into the land of the Anakim and beat them down, those giants, and take their property portion. Where Israel, with God, did not have faith to do it. And I want to explain to you why. And it's very important that you get this thought, because this is a lesson that in and of itself, like all lessons of God, is a game changer in your life. Something you're going to have to accept, saints, is this. If you don't want nothing, you won't get nothing. You don't want to do nothing, you're not going to be nothing. Now, if you want to be something, regardless of if you're in the church or not, you'll get something physical, it just won't take you to heaven. But in a church, we should be the front runners of performance. But sometimes we're taught it's not about the goods. Well, we know that. But the key is it's about being great. You can be great spiritual, which doesn't involve goods. But you're just not going to read the Bible and think it's going to happen, because you have to have a plan and put that particular plan into action. And if you can do that, then God Almighty will surely bless you to achieve it. Now let's watch and see. He says unto them, verse 6, here I pray you this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, now he thinks he can trust these guys because they're his brother. He says, for behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. That's his dream. And lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance of my sheep. So their sheaves stood up and gave him praise. And his brethren said, shalt thou indeed reign over us? They know exactly what this dream means. So you telling us you're going to rule up? Joseph has a dream that says, I'm going to be your rulers, and y'all older than me, but I'm going to be your ruler. That's what he said. That's his dream. And he doesn't go, I'm sorry for having this dream. I'm sorry. You know, he said, that's my dream. He says, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? They know exactly what the... See, their interpretation is God's allowed them to go, this mean, man, you're going to rule us? You mean you're going to rule us? And they hate him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Now watch this. Look at verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and he told it to his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. Oh man, that's even worse. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. So now notice the number that he mentions. The sun and the moon and 11 stars. And everybody now knows, now he's been told in his dream that his dream is, I'm going to rule my mom and daddy. Not 12 stars. You know it's more than 11 stars in the sky. I mean, my goodness, that's ridiculous. He knows I'm going to rule y'all and mom and dad. And everybody gets it. Verse, he says, the sun and the moon, 11 stars made a business of me. And he told it to his father and to his brother, and his father rebuked him. So his father rebuked him. Look what he said to him. What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Now he's mad because the boy had a dream. See, somebody will say, now this is what somebody will say, you know. If someone says, I'm going to be the president of the United States, you know you're going to rule your mom and daddy. They're not going to be able to run to the White House. I don't care who they are. They're not run up to that White House unless invited. It just don't work like that. And so, what would they say to that? So you want to be over us? Well, that's the interpretation. I'm going to be the police chief. You're going to be over your mom and dad and all your brothers. That's how you have all the power. I'm going to be the governor. And a person has to stop and understand what this man is dreaming. And he understands it. He's not apologizing. He's not saying, I shouldn't have thoughts like this. I'm running this thing. I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it. His brothers and his dad speaks for his mama and says, you going to be over us? And it's a rebuke. He doesn't go, why doesn't he go? Now listen to this. See, y'all remember now, he loves him more than others, but you know, he don't love him that much. Remember now, Jacob not from heaven. Jacob pulled off some nonsense. Jacob is saying something negative, but he should go, man, God gonna be with you, son. I'm so proud of you. I'm going to do all that I can to help you in it. He doesn't think like that. Now you see why Joseph don't want to try to look for him? Let me tell you something. Joseph is the ruler of the world. I don't think we understand what Egypt is, the ruler of the world at this point. When that food runs out, and he's number 2, not in Egypt, in the world. This is a famine in the world. Something that our minds uncomprehended. Now, it might not be a famine in America or somewhere, but where everybody is living, where humans exist, nobody has food at some point. And Joseph has power beyond compare. He don't want to find his mama, his daddy, or his brother. And he makes sure when he names his children, one of them names mean that I have all I need and I don't need my family. That's what one of the kids, look at the 2 children's names. God has made, and then over this, God has made me forget my family, including mom and dad. Because all the time Joseph is like, you know, they didn't really like me when I had a dream off the top. And now the dream is real. See, you know one of the things you're going to have to understand when you're achieving greatness, be it spiritual or physical, everybody not on your team, especially the people in your house may not be. I'm just telling you. That's something you have to accept. Joseph accepts it. Now, his mom and dad didn't throw him in the pit, but, you know, let's be real about it. You know, nobody beat no dough down trying to look for him. He knows that. It's like, you know, who's looking for me? One thing he did, the point is, though, is that I'm thinking about the dream. Y'all had a problem with the dream. So I already know y'all got the thing is you got a problem with me because I got the dream. And you didn't go, amen, praise God. You go, you shall not. Is that what's going to happen? This what's going down? See, so you got to watch what you say to people. Because you never know who's going to be great. What they tell David, hey, little sheep you got. David runs the whole thing. No, we can pick anybody. We sticking with Joseph. And so anybody have any question or comment, feel free to speak. Saints, when you start talking about being great, especially in spirituality, it's like turning on a light and the roaches run. I don't know what it is with saints. Because greatness requires accountability. So you're going to be held accountable and responsibility. See, the world accuses and excuses. We don't. In the world of God, in the kingdom of God, we know the law. And we know grace and mercy. They excuse and accuse. They just say, well, I don't think that's right. I don't think he should have did it. I think it's okay. It's his choice. Oh, it's her choice. Yeah, but see, in saint, no, we all get the same teaching. No, we know that's not right. Oh, we know that is okay. And what we should, and that's our fault if we don't. So he said, once he rebukes him, shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee? He says, to the earth. See, notice they bow to the earth. See, people always talk about, you know, prayer posture. This is a prayer posture when you're doing it to God, where your face hits the dirt. Some saints don't like that. But these are said, y'all, go put your face to the dirt. To Joseph. Not to God, to Joseph. You're going to pay him the utmost respect that a man can receive. He said, this way it's going down. And so, you have to stop now and remember something. What is Jacob's response in verse 11? His brother entered him, but his father observed the same. His father observed the same. He's looking at it. But he's not with it. His brothers hate him for it. His dad don't hate him for it, but he's not with it. He didn't go, amen. And this is his dream. Remember this, y'all. This is his dream.
God bless you, Brother Ozan. Just wanted to mention in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 26 concerning David. It says, where David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth the Philistine and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. So his eldest brother heard when he spake unto the men. So his older brother's getting angry. And he said, why camest thou hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and thy naughtiness. So it is false accusation of thine heart. for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. So he's falsely accusing him of being prideful, naughty, in mischievous format, and he's just coming to see the battle. And then verse 29, he gives his true intentions. It says, and David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause?
Amen.
And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. So he continued the conversation, David, with the men. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And so we have here David, who is truly desirous to accomplish this, of getting rid of this guy Goliath from the reproach of Israel. He's truly about God's business. But Eliab, he doesn't have the same mindset as King David at this time. And we know David, he charged him, he threw a stone at him and sunk in his head. He cut his head off with Goliath's sword. And so Eliab, he didn't have that mindset. He didn't have that desire to do that. He had fear. And so he wants to see David as only his little brother.
That's right.
Okay, that's the only way I want to see you, as a little brother. You take care of sheep. You're naughty. You do things, around the wilderness. And that's how he wants to have a permanent view of him. And so what God is anointed. See, God has anointed David through the hands of Saul to be the king. And so the idea is that when anointing of the Holy Spirit and God propels a saint, to do great works or do the works of God, you have to get out of the way.
That's right.
And do not hinder the saint to do God's will and God's work.
That's right.
Because you can't. You're not going to be able to stop it.
Amen. Well said, brother. God bless. And the powerful thing with this particular information about Joseph is, y'all understand this is a physical accomplishment. To feed people with food, that's not spiritual. Jesus does the spiritual. This is just Joseph's dream of greatness. He's going to be great. All that he does in Egypt has nothing to do with saving souls. Can you save a soul by giving them some wheat? Can you save a soul by returning the food to them and tell them, well, look, if you give 1/5 to Pharaoh, not to God, 1/5 to Pharaoh. This is his physical job. And somehow we take this and we don't see the physical, but you can't get the spiritual application until you look at how he goes about to do it. That's spiritual. This is just his job. You get the spiritual impact of what it means in Christ, but you miss the physical accomplishment. How we do that? Because we don't study enough. As congregations around the world and everywhere, we don't want to study. We're too busy doing something else. And then we get mad if somebody else accomplishes it and hits the great mark with God. And they're blessed physically and spiritually, and we're mad. I'm not saying we us, we people. Nevertheless, let's move forward. And so now, so how does this thing go? So you got to be able, we said, one point we pointed out is to understand, you got to believe, dream big and believe, because he dreams big, no doubt about it. Do not be discouraged by obstacles en route to you achieving your goal, whether it's physical or spiritual. Look at the 16th verse. And he said, I seek my brethren, tell me, as Joseph went looking for them, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, they are departed thence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him and said, they saw him, he come in, hey man, come on man, what are we going to do with this guy? And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Verse 20. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what shall become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it and delivered him out of their hands. Let's not kill him. Reuben is a backstabber too, though, because he's going to be a part of throwing him into the hands of Midianite. So don't clap for him yet, because he's not right either. He just don't want to kill him. And see, that's two kinds of crooked saints in the world. You got the saint that'll handle you and annihilate you, and you got the saint that'll sell you out. Neither one is right with God. God has nothing good to say about any of these 11 boys. Nothing. Nothing at all. And that's why they're on the other downside of begging for food versus ruling over food. And so we see in verse 26, and Judah said unto his brethren, what profit us if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not your hand be upon it, for he is our brother in our flesh, and his brother will contend. You know what he means by what's the profit? They fixing to get money. You know when you sell a slave, you get money. You see how dirty they are? Now you want to see why he named his kids, I forgot my family. You name your kids that too. You had some strength in you. Verse number 27. Let's go to verse 20. And there passed Midianite merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit. You know when you sell a slave, you know you can set him to be a whore. So they got dogs, male prostitutes, called the paramour. They could have made him that. They care nothing about this guy. And it's all because his dream says, I'm going to rule y'all. And sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. Look at, if you will, verse 36. And Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. This guy's going like a piece of meat from person to person. When things like this happen to you, you get sold out, you get destroyed verbally by people, or they kill the hopes of you achieving your dream. If God is with you, do not be discouraged, because this is just an obstacle. Look at verse 3. Third point, forgive me. Practice all that God has taught you wherever you are, regardless to what you are in status. Look at chapter 39 and verse number 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, and Egyptian, brought him out of the hands of the Israelites, which he had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph. Here it is. Now watch this. Remember, this is his personal physical dream. No, he's not. The dream doesn't say anything about him rescuing his family and feeding the world. He has a dream. I'm going to be over everybody that's in my family at least. It says he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him. So his master see, man, God, the great God is with you. We don't worship him, but we know about him. And the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. So what does Joseph possess? The service mentality. You must be a servant. What did Jesus say when they were discussing? Who will be over us when he leaves? Who will be the greatest among us? Jesus said, if you serve, that's how you rule. If you serve. Now you can't serve and be crooked. Yeah, I'm serving these chumps so I can rule. No. You have to serve in genuine. Joseph has no desire to rule Potiphar. His dream was about his family. He just knows one thing: I'm going to serve him because I'm a slave, I'm bought, and I'm going to serve him like I'm supposed to. He doesn't try to escape, doesn't try to hit him in the head with something and leave. He serves him. And he made him, he says, overseer of his house. And all that he had to put into his hand, he put him over everything. And it came to pass from the time that he made him overseer in his house and over all the land, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian house for Joseph's sake, because of Joseph. And that's how a lot of you all in your jobs, all you've had jobs, you served your company so well, and God said, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you with all the stuff you want, and to bless you, I'm going to bless them. And they don't even know why they're getting blessed. They don't even know why that it's going good in their department. They asked you to pray for them, and they should have been fired, and you prayed, and God spared them their job. It said, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. So in the house, in his field, whatever his animals were, and he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and knew not all he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well-fed. He didn't turn bitter. He didn't say, I'm going to sell out folks like my crooked brother sold me. Nobody going to rule over me. I'm going to be like my dad. Nobody rule over me. He didn't have the mentality. He just knew, I'm going to be the ruler over them. I'm going to rule them. But I'm not trying to get mine and forget about you. Joseph has the right mentality. Fourth point. Keep yourself free of immoral practices. Look at the 7th verse of Genesis 39. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph and said, lie with me. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master knoweth not, which is wotteth not, what is with me in the house. He said, you don't know, I got all this stuff. And then committed all that he had to my hand. I'm over his money. I'm over his stuff. In the field, out the field. I'm running the thing. There's none greater in this house than I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee. That's key. Because thou art his wife. How can I do this thing, this great wickedness? Watch what he says and sin against Potiphar. See, Joseph is balanced. He said, God. But your family saw y'all. No, I can't sin against God. See, because Potiphar can be a straight up crook at some point. So it won't be your go-to point. I am going to not do this against God. So all his walk, all his motion, when he with the Midianites, Ishmaelites, when he sold out, everything he's doing is, I can't do things that God don't approve. This 17-year-old who's probably somewhere around 20 now, he has not forgotten the things his family taught him about God. And that's how you and I must be. If you want to help your children, help them to understand, do not forget as they're going to college, as they're going to life, as they're going to work, as they're going to church. At some point they're going to be going to church by themselves. Do not let them forget that they must remember the things that you have taught them. And so, what else does he say about the situation that's before him? Now it's getting bad. It came to pass, she spake to Joseph day by day. She tried every day that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went to the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, she was led forth. Then she called unto the men of the house and spake unto them, saying, see, he had brought in this Hebrew to mock us. He came and allowed me, and I cried with a loud voice. It came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came on. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which you have brought in came unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with him and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph, he takes his wife's word, Joseph, master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prison was bound. And there he was in the prison. Somebody say, why would he take the slave word? Because why would you take a slave word? You already know your wife. You know what she like. You know her, or you know your husband, or you know your children, whatever. This guy, since the day you bought him like a piece of meat, not tried to hurt you, not tried to take anything, and you have nothing missed. You don't even know what your stuff is. You see God's with him. Everything he do, man, it becomes blessed. Inside and outside your house. You should have knew right there she lying. But because you don't have the Holy Spirit, you can't see them. So that's where he at. And one of the blessings about Joseph, when he becomes the second ruler of the earth, he never makes a shot at Potiphar's wife. This is how people pay you back. See, because justice must be served. So, yeah, you lied on me. You put me in jail, so I don't know who else you lying on. So I'm going to get you. But he lets it go. Lets it go. Is she going to be forgiven by God? No, you're not a believer. You're not going to be forgiven by God just because Joseph let you go. But Joseph, I'm not going to pay you back. I'm going to let God pay you back. See, he knows that I'm going to let God pay. Because he knows, you're going to get paid back. You're getting paid back. See, I can't stop the payback. I can't stop it. But God is going to pay her back. Joseph knows that, and Potiphar. Because he simply chooses to believe his wife over a guy who has never done him harm. And so, it says here, but the laws with Joseph showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the king of the prison. So here's another opportunity for God to give mercy. God gives him mercy. Not that he's done anything wrong, but gives him mercy that no one harm him for being lied on. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph all the prisoners in the prison. Whatsoever they did there, he was the doer. If anybody going to wash clothes today, who going to bust up rocks, who going to move this stuff? Joseph was over everything. The keeper of his prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, just like Potiphar, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it possible. Joseph was this way with his mama and his daddy. Joseph was this way with his 11 crooked brothers. Joseph was this way with the Ishmaelites, Midianites. Joseph was this way with Potiphar. Joseph is this way in the prison, and he's going to be the same way with Pharaoh. Because he walks by God. You don't have to tell Joseph, go to church. He'll be in that church. You don't have to tell Joseph when you're at the house by yourself and your wife gone to work, don't have no girlfriend now. Joseph said, I can't do this to God. You don't have to worry about Joseph. Because he walked with God. And that's what you and I need to be like. Final point. Do not give up on your dreams because someone witnesses against you falsely. That's our final point from this. This is what happened. He doesn't give up on his dream just because the lady lies on him. People are going to allow you en route to greatness, be it spiritual or physical. And you can't give up on your dream. The final point is, as Brother Frias read for us, concerning David. David does not apologize for the benefit to killing Goliath. He wants to just destroy him. So why aren't y'all fighting him? As Brother Frias read. Somebody comes up and say, this part. Hey, do you know what you get? Talking to somebody else, not David. If you beat Goliath, what? Your family don't owe taxes, and you get to marry Saul's daughter. And she definitely wasn't ugly. And David stopped and asked him, what is it you get? See, I'm fixing to do it. It's a benefit too. David don't go, I don't want the benefits. You know, a lot of us miss blessings because of that mentality. See, there's a benefit in being in a church. And some of us pass it by. Well, that may be why we don't have what we want. Because you pass it by. There is no special seat in heaven for broke folks. I'm telling you. So this is a benefit. No taxes for my mom and dad to pay my family. We're tax free. And I get to marry his daughter. Boy, that's going to be it here. He accepts it. You cannot apologize when we start out saying for the blessings and benefits that God gives. Solomon doesn't apologize. He asks for I just need wisdom to handle these people, to rule them. I just want you to be with me in ruling over them. And God, I'm going to give you that and the stuff too. I'm going to make you more rich than anybody. Ever been, ever will be. He don't go, nay, Father, see that don't do this. No. See, some of us do that. Nay, and that's why we don't have. And that's why maybe we aren't in even a spiritual development. Because we want to step up and do what the Lord has asked us to do. And then we're going to try to tell somebody else what to do when they do it. Well, you don't even want to do it. You can't tell nobody nothing. You don't want to get there. You don't know what it's like to go against the crowd. The crowd that's coming at you with weapons. You didn't want to do it. So stay back. See, this is what gets us in trouble. You can't counsel people on something you don't want to do. Let me make sure I say that twice. If you don't want to be great, you'll never help nobody be great. You can take that to the bank because you do not know the route, all the way, nor the weapons. Whether it's spiritual or physical. See, the Bible tells us that spiritual gain is good in this world and the world to come. You don't have to have the physical things, but the spiritual gain will get you what you need. But the physical stuff, you don't get nothing spiritual from physical gain. Nothing. And the thing you have to understand is, Joseph is simply, he's watching prison. That's nothing holy about that. He's watching a dude's house. What's holy? What type of spiritual work is that? He's obedient to God. That's a spiritual work. He doesn't do crooked practice. But the actual making sure the animals not getting away, that's nothing spiritual. When he rules the earth and say, put the grain away for 7 years, that's nothing holy. That's not spiritual food. That's food everybody going to eat. Crooks, murderers, everybody going to eat that. And so now we have to understand, though, when you look at this, how does he gain this greatness? When Joseph is in prison, he gives straight answers from his dreams. He tells one guy, you're going to die. Tells the guy, you're going back to your old job. He doesn't go, the Lord be with you, I don't know what's going to happen. He's not afraid to tell a person, you're in a Baptist church? That's not the church that the Lord built. You won't live spiritually. You'll die. He was frank. Just like Paul. Frank. Plain speech. You're going to make it. You in the church? You remember church? Yeah. You're going to make it. Yeah. Yeah, you're on the downside now, but if you repent, you'll make it in. How can you say? Because I'm judging. I'm telling you the truth. That's his plus. So, when Pharaoh now has a dream, And Pharaoh has this dream he cannot do anything with. He doesn't know what it means. Look at chapter 40, if you will. And, oh, forgive me, 41. Verse 12. There was a Hebrew with us, a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of guard. And we told him, and we interpreted to our dream. To each man according to his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us. So it was when he restored unto mine office. And he said, and him he hanged. He said, so he said it just like that. The guy that died, he said, and me, I got my job back. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon and shaved him, changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou understand and can interpret. So he interprets a dream. We know this part. And verse 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath showed Pharaoh what to do. The 7 good kind are 7 years, and 7 good years are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7th end and ill-favored kind that was come up from them are 7 years, and the 7 empty blasted with the east wind, 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken to Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showed Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years in great plenty throughout all the land, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt. And the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh. Now look what he said. Now see, Joseph, remember, he knows I'm going to rule my family. That's all I know. He's not asking for the job. Now therefore, Pharaoh, look out among you a man wise and discreet. Set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint him officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenties of years. So he said, you know, don't rob him. He's a good guy. He says, don't rob him. You just take the 5th part for you. Take a 5th part. And so every 5 parts, take the 5th part, knead them with 4, and you put it in a silo. Because they got to eat now. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that the food shall be for store in the land against the 7 years of famine, and shall be in the land of Egypt, and the land shall perish not through the famine. And the king was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all the servants. And Pharaoh said to the servants, now Pharaoh, he got some sense like this dude, okay, hold up. Now who we going to find to do this? Who we going to find to do this? And Pharaoh said to the servants, can we find such a one as this man? A man whom the Spirit of God had. See, I don't worship him. But I know, see, everybody knows that that is a great God that nobody has seen. He's in this guy. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God had showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou. See, he's discreet. He carries himself properly. And he's wise. See, a wise guy like this will rip people off. But he said, but you're discreet. And thou shalt be over my house. Here we go again. And according unto the word shall all my people be ruled. He is a guy that I'm the president of the land. I'm vice president, and there's one over me. And he says, on the throne will I be greater than thou. Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I've set thee over all the land of Egypt. And by doing that, when the 7 years of famine come, they are going to rule the planet. Because everybody's going to run out of food. See, you say, well, how do you know that? Because his dad and them live way over there in Canaan. That's nowhere near Egypt. Way in Canaan. What are they suffering for? Because the famine hits everywhere on the earth. And so finally he says, see, I'll put you over everything. Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called to Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar. Please wrong. So he marries a girl who is not a Hebrew. No problem. Y'all the ones sold me in the pit. Want to hear nothing about marrying on, because there's other Hebrews around. Now remember, now Egyptians don't eat with Hebrews because it's an abomination. It is other Hebrews out there. He could have sought a Hebrew woman. He takes Asenath. Why wouldn't he? My people sold me up. My people sold me out. It's 11:59. We got 1 minute left. And Joseph went over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph, watch how young he is. 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. 30 years, from 17 to 30. His life goes up and down. But because he believed in his dream and he was going to be great, he not only is going to rule his mom and daddy, but he's going to rule the world. He don't need to rule Pharaoh because Pharaoh is on his team. And so, you know, understand that and recognize and embrace the thought is that our time is up. If you want to be great, whether it's physical or spiritual, you got to remember, dream big and believe. Be not discouraged by obstacles to achieving your goals. Practice all that God has taught you wherever you are, regardless of what you are in status. Keep yourself free from immoral practice. Don't give up on your dream because someone witnesses against you falsely. So with that thought in mind, our time is up. Well, know if you believe in the Lord, desires to have your life changed, repent, you confess Jesus, Son of God, you're baptized, have your sins removed, and the Lord adds you to His church, and that's how your soul is saved. That's the end of our lesson at this particular time. We'll get Brother Robert to give us a prayer to get us to go home safely, God willing.